Rob, I want to first of all, Hondo Carpenter.
How you doing? What's your name?
Hondo Carpenter.
Hondo?
I want to talk to you about, an Adam Butler, just guys that are competing. You got a lot of talent there, a lot of guys. You're going to be cutting some guys who are good players.
Yeah.
Can you ask for more as a
I
coach?
try not to think about it right now.
No, but can you ask for anything more as a coach? That, hey, at least Ziegler's giving me enough guys that I'm going to have to be cutting some good. A lot better than, I guess I have to keep this guy, right?
Yeah, no question. I mean, competition. You know, you get the best version of everybody in competition, right? They know everybody's fighting for their job. But I mean, it's a great, especially at the D tackle spot. It's very competitive. It's been a lot of fun.
The best ability is availability, and if a guy just can't be available, no matter how much you like him, can't do anything about it. Is that something you got to stress to a lot of young players when they get to the NFL? Like, you got to know the difference between being hurt and being injured. Yeah. Without availability, your ability doesn't matter.
Yeah, Josh does a great job of that. Yeah, I think that line you just said is posted in the training room. So, you can't compete if you're not on the field. It's always a process for these rookies to learn how to become a pro. It's not a 12-game college season. I say this is a marathon, not a sprint. So. What you're doing pre and post practice, what you're doing in the off season, all that stuff comes into play. Especially playing D line.
How does Max make everybody else on the D line better?
Cool. His consistency, I would say, would be the first word. Obviously, it's him as a person, but he's the same guy day in and day out. Not just emotionally, but his routine. I mean, he walks the walk. He shows everybody how to do it, and it's awesome. It's awesome.
Even in practice, he's like non-stop. You always have to tell him to slow down a little bit and not always be so amped up.
Especially not in pads, there's definitely an element of that. But he's full throttle all the time. He wants to be the best,
right?
And it's awesome.
Can you see young players kind of feed off that?
No question. If I'm being honest, I think it can be overwhelming sometimes for a young player of wow, because he's at such a high level from a routine. I'm talking mainly on the field, off the field. That's just another step in the process for him once he takes the field, but he's the same guy all the time. So younger guys finding their own way, their own routine, and that fits them and who they are. With regard to watching him, if that makes sense.
What do you? Max keeps talking about improving and finding ways to get better. Where do you think he can still go?
His level of detail, the conversations you can have with him, you can see where he can improve. Like I said, not all players, that may be overwhelming to a rookie player. The high level conversation of technique, fundamentals, eye discipline, you can counter here. That young players may not see, and he's able to handle that because he knows himself so well. He knows his technique, his fundamentals, what he's good at. So there is always area for improvement.
Tom Izzo, the Michigan State Hall of Fame basketball coach, has said to me, he's a friend, and has said numerous times, when your best players are your hardest workers, then you have a championship potential team because they set the standard, not the coach. Do you agree with that? And so even Devontae, when he first got here, talked about Max winning sprints.
Yeah.
We talk about how he impacts the team that way by being that hard worker.
Yeah, I think, I wasn't here in the past years or whatever it may be, but for a guy that walks the walk, once you hit that, it's now in my mind what we talk about, how many guys can we bring with you? What you're alluding to is ownership. The players taking ownership of it. I encourage that all the time. I said the moment it's not coming from me, it comes from you guys. We're hitting the level where we want to be. They play, I don't. So their ability to fix things on the field, get the energy back right on the field, reset if we had a negative play. The moment that comes from them, which we're seeing elements of that, and that's what championship teams do. The players run it.
You got Byron Young back there today. What does he bring to the
mix? Technique, fundamentals. He's smart. He's disciplined with his run technique. We're talking eye control, hand placement. He's been coached at a high level, coming from Alabama. It was his first day, out there the other day, so we just got to keep building.
looking back, when you review last season, it seemed like Jerry Tiller had a big impact on Chandler. I mean, it seemed like he played a lot better when he played next to him. Did you see that at all, or can you understand, like maybe looking back of how that could happen, how a guy could just play off a guy better?
So are you asking, is Jerry better when he's lined up next to
I
Chandler?
think Chandler's better when Jerry's lined up next to him. It seemed like it, watching back on the film. I mean, is that possible for a guy to just play better, play off a guy that's next to him, maybe play better?
Absolutely. Especially, I'd say, in rush situations, knowing what the guy inside likes to do, what the guy outside likes to do, because that affects your rush lane. That's a good point. We're always looking for the best four out there that work together and the continuity with the rush, not just, four guys lining up thinking about my individual rush, but like how it all ties together. But yeah, I mean, that's something you're always looking for.
What does Jerry bring to a team?
Jerry's long, powerful. I mean, if he walked in this room, he'd stick out like a basketball player, right? So trying to get him to use his God-given skill set more. That would be it, really. Use his length, use his power, use his God-given ability more, both in the run and the pass game.
He's a really different kind of guy. I mean, I'm sure you
Jerry?
experienced that. Yeah, I mean,
He's hilarious.
Is there like an art to kind of getting to know somebody and kind of learning how to coach them in particular?
Always. I think it's each person in the room is different. It's my job. It's not only my job, but I'd say each player in the room's job to create that brotherhood, to get to know each other like that. Jerry has a great personality. He's arguably one of the funnier guys in the room. So, you have to coach everybody differently. Consistently, fundamentally, but everybody differently to get the message home. Absolutely.
Matthew Butler is a guy that needed to take a step in his sophomore year. Are you seeing that? Are you happy with what you've seen so far in camp from him?
Yeah, Matt's a powerful, strong guy, and he works his butt off. So anything you ask Matt to do, he'll go out there and do a pre-practice, post-practice. Another guy that's modeled Max's routine. He's doing all the right things, controlling what he can. What do we have? 4 or 5 days of pads. He's done pretty well. I think this would be a big week for him as well as everybody else going against another team. So Matt's doing good.
Are there things that jump out with him as opposed to last year, being year two? Things you can tell are definitely gotten better. Or he's done better?
I think so. I think the word just consistency. Consistency is flashing, and that's like a lot of players in this league. You look at it like batting percentage. How many plays you're in there? How many times you're actually executing your job? And he's doing a good job. I think he's been flashed a few plays. He just needs to be continuing to be more consistent.
You also added John Jenkins, kind of different guy than other guys in the room. What does he bring to the next level?
He would be he's a very consistent player. Has played a long time, knows his roles. Is very understands what he can and can't do, and for what we ask him to do, he understands it at a high level, technique and fundamentally. What blocks he's getting, change-ups off of that, and he's done a really good job.
Jenkins is also the kind of guy that takes those young players under his wing and mentors them. He understands, okay, at this stage in my career, I'm not just going to be here to play, I got to be here to lead.
No question.
Can you talk about what he has lent in his short time here, leading that? Because you got 4 rookies or sophomores.
Outside of the free agents?
Right, outside the free
we got. There is.
the 4 draftees and then
the veterans overall have done a great job. Specifically your question with John. I've been with John. I was with John at the Giants and with him at the Dolphins. And as he's gone, his maturity, the longer his career has gone on, and like you said, helping develop young guys, understanding that's part of his job description, has been amazing. It's been amazing. Him out there pre-practice, taking guys on the sled, talking about why we're doing the drills we're doing and how it affects him in a game. To me, he's only gotten better. He may or may not have physically. In my opinion, he's still executing at a high level, but he's sharp and he's a pro. He's a pro.
outside of this building, there were some people shocked when you took Nesta. But inside this building, there was a lot of excitement
Yeah.
just because of you guys' outside connections and some things you knew. What have you seen from him so far in camp?
He's competitive. You know, he wants to be physical. He cares. You know, but like rookies, you know, he needs to clean up some mistakes and everything like that. But he's responding. You know what I mean? He's taking the coaching to the field, competing his butt off, and you know, it kind of goes like this. You know, good day, down, responds. He keeps responding to adversity, which is what you want to see.
Chandler looks different on the field. He said he changed his body a little bit. Have you seen different kind of levels from a different kind of burst maybe?
Compared to
maybe from where he was last year, especially early in the year?
Yeah, I mean, I think Chandler is, he looks good. You know, he's rushing the passer. He's gaining ground off the ball. I think he looks good. You know, I don't really want to speculate on last year just not being here. You know what I'm saying? But of watching him over the years, he looks good. He looks good. It's fun to talk to Chandler and get inside his mind as a pass rusher of things I've watched from a distance over the years, of why he does what he does, you know, what he sees, how he's trying to set guys up. I really enjoyed that, and I think the other young players enjoyed that as well.
What can Tyree kind of do and learn without being able to be out there? Like, how much can he really get done?
A lot from a playbook standpoint, a routine standpoint. I'll give you another comparison because I kind of knew this was coming up. Just not a comparison as a player, but same situation. When I had Jalen Phillips in Miami, he hurt his hamstring first round in, and it's the same thing, you know, in training camp, and came back and whenever it was, and it's the same message. Take a day at a time, control what you can control, and really that's the message. He'll be fine.
I was gonna. It seems like every year coaches say I got a real deep room, but you actually do have a really deep room this year. It makes it fun as a coach. Is it one more challenging for you? Kind of make sure everyone gets their chance.
Yeah, that's what you want, in my opinion. I love competition. I believe in it. I know Josh and Dave try to set it up that way. You're going to get the best version of everybody. You know, I couldn't ask for a better situation, quite frankly.
Oh, and I guess how, it's kind of obvious, but how beneficial is it for Tyree to have Chandler and Max around?
It's been awesome. It's been fantastic. You know, especially, you know, you can have rookies come in, and sometimes they'll walk in and, hey, I'm the best player in this room, and I'm a rookie. You know, this guy is going to learn the process the right way. He has two, not just those two. You mentioned John Jenkins. A lot of guys that have a routine that are true pros to watch. They're walking the walk, and Tyree sees that every day, and it gives him a chance to, you know, the objective is to develop into your potential, right? Every player, and it's a good platform for that. So
we don't know you because you're new, just like you don't know us. But talking to the guys about you, what their impressions were of you, they said that you were a terrific listener. I'm curious, how does that make you a good coach? Because that's
I hope my wife's watching this.
No, your wife's probably
I hope my
pissed.
wife heard that.
Your wife's probably
listener.
pissed.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, that's a tremendous compliment coming from them. I rely a lot on how I wanted to be coached. You know, I see it as a partnership, not a dictatorship. You know, I don't have all the answers. I work my butt off to be the best at my job. I always tell them, but like, especially when it comes to, I want to know what they're thinking each down, not just me telling them. Like, I'll be very specific, fundamentally, technique-wise, but understanding the why if something's not being executed correctly. What are you seeing? What are you thinking here? Especially with the guard, probably more to pass rush. I think it's an art to it. I think guys, I don't think you can necessarily put people in a box. So I'd be dumb not to come into my room with two, Chandler Jones, Max Crosby, and not get insight into their mindset in the pass rush. But I always tell them to tell me the truth because it's my job to tell you. So I see it interactive in our room.
Malcolm Kuntz, can you give us your observation? This is a guy that has flashed a lot of physicality, but you mentioned consistency earlier.
Yeah.
Is that kind of his story where he's at this year?
Yeah, Malcolm is. I love Malcolm. I love Malcolm. He is talented. I absolutely love Malcolm. I love the progress Malcolm's making. Just want to, again, consistency. You stole the word, but he's a unique individual. You know, he's a different personality, quiet, but has a lot more personality than people may give him credit for, and he has a lot more power than I probably first thought when I got here. But he's doing good.
Thanks for your time. I'm Vic from
Yeah,
Athletic.
Vic, hey,
Appreciate it.